Okay, I have a question, another question, still about nursing. Back in Africa, two things about nursing. Number one, people don't think there is a degree to become a nurse. I know there is a degree to become a nurse as a profession, but when we talk nurse, we think those people who are just going there because they just clean your wound or something like that. They assume you just like below even certified nursing aid, whatever. They don't even think like there is a degree. That's number one. And two, some people, they assume all nurses are female, not male. Can you explain those two concepts for others? If we is a male, can you become a registered nurse? And two, registered nurse is a profession degree, not just like people are thinking about nurses, how majority of people we come from developing countries, especially in Africa.
Well, nursing, now I understand what you mean. When we were growing up, you just, you know how they say, people who fail their classes, they go back and become nurses. Like, when I was growing up, usually when you go to Red Cross, I don't know how many classes they take that you're a nurse. But America is different. It's different because these people's lives are involved. So it's a lot of studying. Like, you have to get a degree to become a nurse. LPNs, like I say, they have a license. Registered nurse, you get a degree. Like, was when I went to school, the first thing I had was associate degree. And when I was done, I waited 3 years later, then I went back for my bachelor's degree. You can get master, you can get PhD in nursing. So it's a degree that you have to go for classes, for clinicals. Like, you have to follow like somebody who's your higher. Like me, I had, when I was doing my clinicals, I had to go in to observe surgeries. Like, it's a lot of studying. It's not something easy, and the classes are not easy, especially for us immigrants, and English is not our first language. It's very difficult. It's very difficult. It's not easy. So it's like people going to school to be doctors. Like, that's where you start. So that's like a foundation. Like, it's not easy. It's a lot of studying.
And are they, for audience, do male become nurses here?
Yeah, they have male nurses, they have male STNAs, just like, So there's sometimes you have, when we have male nurses most of us is women, you got male nurses, people get so excited because sometimes like some stuff are hard and stuff, like maybe they need not handyman, like manpower. So sometimes when you have a man around and they are able to help you, it's nice. But they have male nurses. I work with male nurses. Yeah.
Okay.
And they do the same thing we do. They pay different because there's this pay thing.
Yeah.
When he's a male nurse, they might pay him more than what they pay me, but even the degree is the same.
Wow, that's crazy.
I know it's not fair, but they do that. It happens, and I've seen it. Like, I know some people who are even LPNs. Some places they give me more than me, and I'm like, how is that possible? But it happens.
Let's talk about the payments. I mean, right now you are a registered nurse. Even if we don't say exactly how much you make, we don't want, but average, before you have overtime, how much a registered nurse can make? It can differ from California and Ohio, obviously, we know that. But average, and if you push yourself up to have extra hours, how much can you make in a year?
6 figures. Like 6 figures, if you say that. Yeah, if you push yourself more, I don't know, but if you push yourself, you do overtimes, like, what do you say, you can make.
So
in that level, and imagine the people who are nurse practitioners. Nurse practitioners to start too, they start with 6 figures. As for a registered nurse, it depends on where you work, and also depend on your experience. When I started as a nurse, I didn't have no experience. The place I worked, which I think they didn't pay me what I was supposed to be paid, they started me at $22 an hour. But the good thing is they did have overtimes, they did have bonuses, and you pick up. And at that time, I was later on, and I started going back to school for my bachelor's degree. So it really wasn't bad. I made good money. I think my first year did I make 65 or 55? My first year as a nurse.
For those wondering, is 65,000 US dollars.
Yes. Yeah, so I made from that to 6 figures already, like, because overtime, bonuses and stuff. So if you become a nurse, STNAs, they make good money because they get overtime and they get bonuses.
So if you are registered nurse, to make 100,000 US dollar is the normal thing if you add some few extra hours in those bonuses.
It's not normal. It's normal for the people who work, who can work. Some other people you work with, if you tell them you make 6 figures, they'll be looking at you like, what? Because some people don't work as much, like, they just want to be comfortable. So
okay.
If you work
without overtime, how is the schedule? Because some people say, oh, unless they work 3 days a week or 4 days a week, then they have, how does that work it is in general?
Okay, some places they do 8 hours. Full time, you can start anywhere from 32 hours or 40 hours a week. That considered full time. Some places do 12 hours. If you do 12 hours, you work only 3 days a week. Then whatever you pick up after that is overtime. So it depends. Like, the good thing about nursing, like the healthcare system in general, is very flexible. Maybe I can be here right now. Maybe somebody call off or something happened. They're like, Edna, can you come in for 4 hours? We'll give you $200 bonus, $300 bonus. Sometimes you get $500 bonus. Well, if I'm home and I got nothing to do, I just get up and go. Yeah, it happens. So it's very flexible. It depends on whatever you want. Some people want part-time. Some people want to work as needed. As needed is like you don't have no schedule, but you feel like today, you know what, tomorrow I want to go to work. Hey, tomorrow, what do you have? They will tell you maybe we have second shift or we have this shift. You just pick up. You want to do 8 hours? You want to 12 hours? You just pick whatever you want. Or sometimes you're like, you know what, I want to do double. You go for 3 in the evening, you come back home the next day. So whatever you want is flexible. So they have 8 hours and they have 12-hour shifts.
So do you suggest for any person who has basic interest in medical field, vocation, because for me, still nursing or medical is a vocation. Not everybody can handle the life and the patience of being a medical professional. If someone has those patience and also wants to make money, do you have any regret? Will you advise someone to take the path of becoming a registered nurse, and especially for immigrant?
For immigrant, we come here for one thing, especially Africans. You come here at home, everybody's looking at you like you have to help people. But for me to become a nurse compared to other fields, I think nursing, you can make good money quick if you are willing to work. You can do a lot, even by being STNA and you pick up hours. You can do a lot with those kind of money. When I was STNA, I did a lot of things that I never thought I would have done. So it's easy, I don't know how to say. It's not easy money. It's a hard work, but at the end, it's worth it. Like, you put your hours. Then at the end of the day, then you go home, you are so tired. Then when you come, your paycheck comes, you're like, wow.
You get energy to go back.
Oh, yeah, you get energy. Like last year, when COVID started, I was scared. I would stay home for a while. And then I was like, you know what? If I'm staying home, I'm a single mom. Who's going to take care of my bills? Who's going to take care of my child? I have to get up and go. Because you're afraid of, look, I'm going to die. What's going to happen to my child? But you can also die at home without food. So I was like, you know what? I have to go. So I started going back to work. But I was scared. I used to do agency because with the childcare with me, it was a little bit tough. Sometimes you want to go to school, like sometimes what about your child? It was tough. So I decided to do agency. Agency is good, but it's not good at the same another time because you go to places and sometimes you go there for the first time, you don't know the place. It's like you go to brand new places every day. They pay you a lot more, but the job is like it is hard because you go somewhere you don't know what's the facility they do. Like it's you go to a brand new place. It's hard, but they pay good. So I had to do that for a while, and by doing that, I didn't have no medical what do you call insurance. Everything I do is self pay. Luckily, me and my son we are very healthy. We don't get sick a lot. The only time we go to the doctor is like for our yearly checkups. Once in a while, maybe a child can get cold or flu, red eye. That's it. But that helped. So I used to do agency. Then when every time you go agency, like at first they never used to show or tell you if this place has COVID or not. You go there, boom, there's COVID, and they put you in a COVID unit. You're like, great. If you have a choice, you can come back home. If you don't have a choice like me, you need the money. What are you gonna do? You have to work.
Yeah.
So I need to look for one place that I can work for a while. Then I went to this place, an hour drive. They really were paying good, man. My highest pay was $75 an hour. That is not normal.
Wow.
I was like, man, I was making some money, but I was scared of the COVID because every time you go, their own employees don't want to work in the COVID unit agency. You go to them. It was easy, but it was scary to work in the COVID unit.
Yeah.
And then I met somebody there, a guy nurse. He's from Croatia. Very nice guy, man. He kept telling me, oh, I made 10 grand a month. And I'm like, this man is lying. He actually made 10,000 a month. And I'm like, there is no way. And I'm like, he kept talking, you need to come to where I work, you need to come. Because he works for one company, but the company has different locations. But if you work somewhere like you get tired, you can pick another location. So you don't have to be in one place. So he was coming to a different location when I met him, but his main was a different place. He said, come on, work there. And I'm like, wow. That he gave me his number and everything. I don't know what I did with the paper. I just threw away the paper. Few weeks later, he saw me again. Why you never called me? Why? He's like, give me your number. So I had to give him my number. And he kept convincing me. So I'm like, you know what? I'm like, does your place have COVID? He's like, no, we don't have COVID. So I'm like, okay, if they don't, then I'm coming there. So I went and applied. That was June of last year. Then I started working in one place. Man, they had overtime. When I say overtime and bonus. Everything you pick up extra, $10 an hour. Like, that's how, like, can you imagine, like...
So you get your normal pay, let's say like $30 per hour, then they add the overtime, they add like... Man.
Another thing, that you reach your 40, then you get time and a half. Holiday, you get paid double. Man, it was good money. At one point, in 2 weeks, I made over... That was take home $8,000. And I was like, is this real? And the person, he works every single day except Friday. He work only until 3. He doesn't do it because it's Sabato, what they call it.
Yeah, Sabbath, yeah.
And Saturday, he don't work at all. But every single day, he does 16 hours. Every day. Can you imagine?
That guy makes like at least 15,000 like in 2 weeks.
Yes. No, that man, I was like, at first I was like, that's a lie. But when I started making the money, I was like, oh my God, that is true. But man, you get tired. When I say you get tired, at one time I went to work, I was driving home, I was falling asleep. You know how they say, open your windows when your air comes on your face.
Doesn't help.
Oh, I did not. It was after 1. I had to park in the highway, lock my car, left my car running. I took a nap for 2 hours in the highway. And I woke up like 3 in the morning. I'm like, I'm going home. I was tired. When you come home, you're so tired. But when they're like, oh, Edna, can you pick up $10 an hour bonus? 15. You're like, you know what? Let me just go. Let me drink some coffee. So as a nurse or working in health field, you can make money. You can make a lot of money. It's hard. Sometimes the job can be hard. The family member, the patient, especially COVID time, man, people become evil. They blame you on everything, even though you're not the one who gave them COVID. Like, man, I remember one of my patients had COVID. She was blaming everybody. She was calling the police. She was like, man, it was bad. And I never even had COVID, but they're blaming us. You gave me COVID. I'm like, how can I give you something I don't have? It is tough, but it's doable.